Hey y'all, welcome to the Fast Yes Framework mini course or the Fast Yes mini course. It is created by the illustrious Heather Wild. C'est moi. Oh gosh, okay. New to using slides. Okay, so this is just a reality check that this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm going to be giving you some of my best information, stuff that I share with my high ticket one-to-one clients, but let's be real, you're not going to get rich after watching this. Now, if you're very advanced, you may make more sales after watching this, maybe. If you're not, you're probably going to get a lot of good information. It's going to give you some progress. You're not going to get rich from watching this, okay? And that is just who I am. I'm transparent. I want you to have realistic expectations of what to expect anytime that you're working with me, whether it's a free event or in my high ticket one-to-one 6-month program. Okay. Fast Yes mini course day one is how to attract aligned as fuck clients who say yes without the chase, burnout, or bullshit. Today, we're going to talk about how to spot a fast yes lead or a highly qualified lead so that you can recognize them quickly, nurture them, focus on them, and stop wasting time on people who ghost and energy drain. And that's actually what day two is about how to recognize those people and avoid them. Okay, so if you don't, what's my next thing? Okay, if you don't know me, I'm Heather Wild, and this is why you should listen the fuck up. Okay. I trained as a coach in 2009. Yes, I actually got training. In 2013, I started taking all kinds of business, marketing, sales, copywriting, energetics, mindset courses, big group programs of one-to-one coaches. I've worked with some big names. I've worked with people that are relatively unknown but brilliant. And I have spent over $100,000 just on my business investments. So what this means is that I know a whole hell of a lot. Plus, I've been in the game since 2013. I know a lot about online business, and I kept up with new trends. So I know actually what's working now. I'm not going to teach you what was working in 2018. I'm going to teach you what's working right now. And what else? I've also spent an enormous amount of money on personal and spiritual growth, health coaching, all kinds of things. And so I am highly qualified to tell you about what highly qualified leads want because I've spent a lot of money, right? I've been a highly qualified lead for a lot of people. So I have unique insight as a business owner, as someone who has studied business, someone who coaches people in business, and also someone who has been a client. I say therapy saved my life, but personal growth and purpose-driven coaches and healers actually helped me make it worth living. All right, so enough about me. Let's dive in. All right, so the what is this doing? Oh, okay. My animations. I'm not used to this. Okay. I want you to picture the man that these demographics describe. Male, born in 1948, raised in the UK, married twice, lives in a castle, wealthy and famous. Okay. You got a picture of who that would be? Okay. So this is who you pictured, right? Or somebody like King Charles, right? So all this stuff definitely describes him. But to show you why these are all demographics, right? These are all kind of surface level things. And to show you why demographics, which is what most coaches will teach you about what to base your marketing on to create your ideal client avatar. I'm going to show you why that is just such a broken system because guess who else these exact things describe? Friggin' Ozzy Osbourne. So you look at these two men and they look the exact same on paper. They have the exact same demographics, but they are not the same person at all. First off, they're so different, their lifestyles are so different that they're not going to be interested in a lot of the same products and services. But there would be some things that maybe both of them are considering buying or would be interested in. But even if they're interested in the same things, you wouldn't sell to them in the same way. You wouldn't use the same messaging. And finally, if you're someone who would really love someone like King Charles as client, your nightmare client is probably Ozzy Osbourne and vice versa, right? So just because somebody looks a certain way on paper is not really telling you who they are, what kind of client they're going to be, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so if you are somebody who has worked with multiple coaches, you've worked on your copywriting, worked on your marketing, worked on your video performance, you've had a fashion coach. I'm naming all these things that I've done, and you're still struggling in your business. Like you're making sales, but you're not making as many sales as you'd like, or you'll make a lot of sales during launch and then nothing for 2 months. Your leads are taking forever to convert. The sales, when you are selling to people, it feels hard and it feels uncomfortable because the way you've been taught, although it works, it doesn't really feel aligned. Like you feel salesy, you feel pushy, you don't like it. Your energy feels fried. And some of your clients, and you would never tell them this and probably not really talk to anybody about this, but some of the people that are saying yes to your offers are just not sparking joy. I've been there. Sucks. So I'm not going to BS you and say that you missing a clear definition of your highly qualified leads is the only problem. I won't know exactly what's going on in your business until I see your homework from this mini course. Or even the free, even if you're doing the free version, there's the Express Yes experience where you can upgrade and get even more personalized feedback and a one-to-one 15-minute call with me to work on what you worked on in the mini course and go deeper. But even those of you that got the free are going to get some personalized feedback on your homework. All you have to do is do it and submit it. Um, that will give me a better idea of what's going on. Business is not a paint by numbers. It's more like a messy science experiment where you are testing way too many variables at once, right? You're testing the messaging, the offer, your graphics, your website, whatever, all at once. In a good science experiment, you're only testing one thing at once. But in business, you can't really do that, especially the earlier you are. So I don't know exactly what's going on in your business, but what I can tell you is that even my most advanced clients, okay, so I had a client come to me that was making 10 to 20K a month in sales when he first started working with me. That was before I ever got my hands on him. But even though he was making sales and he was making really good sales numbers, he was burning out, he was exhausted. This is what we started with, was defining his highly qualified leads, and this is the difference it made. So he was spending hours every day trying to book 10 sales calls a week. He was getting on 20 plus sales calls a month. He's only closing about 20% of those sales and feeling exhausted, feeling just and getting ghosted a lot. It just was not, it was not the scene. It was not the vibe. And he thought he had a bad mindset or he just didn't have the right motivation or whatever. The truth is he was using a broken system. So after working with me, and the first thing we did was redefine we threw out his client avatar and we got him a highly qualified leads profile. And he was able to close $19,000 in sales in just 4 days with 6 or 7, I forget, calls as opposed to 20 plus, right? So that is the power. This is why this is so important. And there may be other gaps in your skills and your systems and everything, but this is where it all starts. This is the foundation. Okay, so what is a highly qualified lead and how does it vary from an ICA? So at ICA, ideal client avatars usually just demographics, what kind of car does she drive? What colors her toenail polish is ridiculous shit. Where does she live? Does she have kids? That kind of stuff. And some of that can be important, but highly qualified lead profile goes deeper. And we'll talk about more about what it is, what those psychographics are so important. And if you're in the Express Yes experience, you're going to get a little bonus training that's going to be like 5 to 10 minutes long that's going to go really deep into what you're looking for and help you to figure out specifically what you're looking for your business, how to apply it to your business, not just, in theory. Okay. So, but a highly qualified lead is an essential component to the Fast Yes framework. And it's essentially the cheat code to easier, faster sales, more repeat buyers, drill worthy testimonials that are going to up-level your marketing and help you attract and convert more easily, more aligned clients, hot referrals, people who have seen your clients get a transformation or get a result with you, and now they want one too. Plus, it's going to help you feel lit the fuck up by your business. And you're going to have long-term sustainable business success instead of like short bursts of success and then exhaustion. And the ultimate thing, because if you follow me, you're a soul-led, purpose-driven entrepreneur. You're not just in this for the money. You have a mission to fulfill. And by knowing what your highly qualified leads are, and using the Fast Yes framework and the rest of my aligned as fuck sales sales framework, which you would learn in my big 6 month program, it leads to living your mission and actually thriving, like not just bending over backwards to help people, but actually getting the financial rewards that come with that and the more ease in your life so that you have more energy for your family and friends and your passions and also to better serve your clients. Okay, so let's get a little more defined about your highly qualified leads. And you'll hear me say like high quality leads, highly qualified leads. They're the same thing. So a highly qualified lead, number one, they show up as coachable, healable, or able to be in partnership, depending on what you do, because my methods work for anybody who's a service-based business. So if you are a copywriter, a website designer, fashion, I don't know, photographer, whatever it is that you do, whatever service that you provide, they've got to be willing to they've got to be willing to be helpful and actually want to get the result and participate in getting the result. So that, and they've got to be self-responsible. So they've got to be somebody that is not blaming everybody. They're not blaming past coaches. They're past the victim stage and they're ready to take action. Here is the next thing is that they're at the right starting point. So in a nutshell, are they a beginner? Are they an intermediate or advanced? And why this is important. Let's say that you were signing up for college classes and you were a freshman, you hadn't taken anything, and somebody in the registrar's office screws up and puts you in a master's level physics course, and you've never had physics 101. How well are you going to do in that class? You're not. You're going to crash and burn. Not because you're stupid or there's anything wrong with you, but just because you don't have the tools, the skills, the experience, um, the knowledge, like you're not prepared. And so you need to know what the right starting point is for all of your offers so that you can screen and make sure the person who is coming to you is actually at the right starting point, and either refer them to somebody else if they're not, or put them into another program that is at the starting point that they're more likely to get the better results with. Okay, they've got to be problem aware and ready for a solution. So they've got to know that they have a problem and they've got to define it as a problem. So I will have people come to me in the DMs about, because I'm single, and they're like, oh, I'm a dating coach, I can help you. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not looking to date right now, right? So I technically have the quote unquote problem that they solve, but I don't define it as a problem right now, right? I'm in a healing phase. So I'm not a highly qualified lead for them, even though I'm single, even though my demographic is single. And they've got to be ready for a solution, So, yeah, one day I do want to date, but that's not a priority for me right now. So I'm not ready for a solution in the moment. Okay. Another thing is they've got to have the mindset and the capacity to win. So even if you're a mindset coach, you have to know like what's your starting point, because if you maybe your specialty is working with people who have a really defeatist attitude, and they're not like half glass half empty, they're like glass all the way empty, right? Maybe that's your specialty, is working with people there on their mindset and getting it up to par. But if that's not your specialty, then you need to think about like what is the minimum level of mindset work that they've done, or how they feel about themselves or whatever, before working with you is going to make sense, and before they're going to be good for you to work with, right? You're going to enjoy working with them. Capacity to win. If somebody's working like three jobs and they've got, two kids and they're a single mom, and, more than likely they do not have the bandwidth to work with you and actually get results. There's always outliers, but on the whole, you need people who actually have like, they're resource rich, or at least they're very, what's the word? Not resilient, resourceful, right? Otherwise, they're not going to be able to apply themselves and get the great results. And last, like it's kind of a vibe thing. Like, are you thinking like, oh my God, like more of her, please? Like, I love the way that this person shows up, man, woman, whatever. So yeah, so these are kind of like getting a little more granular. Okay, so let's talk about why this matters, because so many people are telling you that you need more leads. Like I hate it when I go into Facebook groups and people are like, I got 1,600 leads with this strategy. Who wants it? And I'm like, motherfuck, like I don't want 1,600 leads. That's a mess. And I'm going to show you why in just a second. So you don't need more leads. You need more high quality leads. And then you also need a simple, efficient system to quickly identify those HQLs so that you know who to nurture and who to bless and release. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to quickly recognize the people that you need to bless and release. So you don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to stretch yourself thin trying to nurture everybody. You can like look at this person, interact with them a little bit, and be like, yeah, no, you're not for me, right? Okay. So here is why this matters. Okay. So the old way is you've got this ideal client avatar that is basically a fictional character and a bunch of demographics, a bunch of surface level stuff that don't tell you what you really need to know about whether somebody is going to be a soul aligned client or not. And then you have traditional lead gen practices, which are things like, I lost 30 pounds in 6 seconds. Who wants it? And you generate a whole bunch of leads, but how many of those people are actually good leads, right? So what happens when you have an ICA and traditional lead gen is you end up with this giant haystack of mostly unqualified leads. And you've got a few needles in there, but it's going to take you ages to find those needles. And you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be burned out. And while you're trying to warm all these leads, your best leads are going to go buy from somebody else, somebody who actually has the time and bandwidth to like give them some personalized attention. Because in 2025, it's great to have funnels, it's great to have landing pages, sales pages, email sequences, all that stuff, but they don't convert like they used to. And they never converted that well for most people. They only converted really well for people that had huge warm audiences, right? So If you are making less than 5 to 10K a month consistently, then that funnel is not going to do you nearly as much good as it used to. It's good to have, but you also need to be doing some personalized outreach, and there's ways to do that without wasting a lot of time, without exhausting yourself. But if your bottom line, if you're using the ICA and the traditional lead gen, then you are losing sales and you're having exhaustion and burnout. Now, the Fast Yes framework. You see this nice, pretty picture where now you've got a little bit of hay, but you've got a lot more needles, and the stack is way smaller, right? So you're going to end up with fewer leads, but that's a good thing because more of them are going to be high quality leads, and you're not digging through so much hay to find those high quality leads, and you can quickly like pass the hay on to somebody else. It means you're going to be spend less time nurturing leads that don't buy and more time nurturing leads that are more likely to buy more quickly, which is going to lead to faster sales. You're going to have better clients. They're more aligned. You're going to feel great working with them. They're going to get great results, and it's going to lead to you having more consistent sales. Now, this does not happen overnight. This is not a quick fix, but it is a system that you can set up. And once you have it set up, the more great people that you serve, the more consistent your sales will be, and the easier your marketing and sales and all that stuff is going to be. Oops. Okay. So what is the Fast Yes framework? So finding what actually qualifies somebody for success, which is what we're doing today in day one. And there's going to be an exercise in a minute to help you do that. You're going to know what to look for beneath the surface. So not just the demographics, how to really reveal those psychographics really quickly. How to build offers and content and combos that naturally attract those high quality leads and also are going to nurture them quickly into buyers, and create systems that reveal who an HQL is really, really quickly. Okay, so for the exercise for today, what you're going to do next is you're going to list 3 dream clients that you've worked with. They can be free, they can be paid, but they have to be dream clients. And that means that they not only you really enjoyed working with them, you really clicked with them, but also they got really great results. They either hit their goals or almost hit their goals. Anyway, it was an exceptional experience. And what you're going to focus on. So those of you doing the free training, or you're doing just the Fast Yes framework mini course, you're going to focus on what made them such a joy to work with, each one of them, what was true about them, what was true about their mindset, their skills, their stage of their business, their energy, their goals, and what made the experience feel easeful, exciting, and effective. Okay, so you're going to do that in the day one workbook, and you're going to message me with the link with a commenting ability, and I'm going to go over it, and I'm going to give you some personalized feedback so that you know for sure that you're on the right track with this, and make some suggestions of where you could refine it a little bit more, because even like me, like I'm an expert at doing this with other people. I need outside help. I need outside perspective to really get the most out of these kind of exercises, because you can't read the label from inside the jar. We're all too close to what we do. Okay, now these are the people that are going to be coachable, successful, and energizing to serve. Okay, now if you are in the Express Yes experience, you're going to get a short 5 to 10 minute training that's going to go into 6 characteristics specifically that I want you to look at. And I'm going to be teaching you a little bit more about what they are, why it's important, and how to spot it, and how to like spot it in your previous clients so that you can then bring it over. And you're also going to get an AI tool that is going to help you analyze. In your workbook, you also got like a nice clean table that just makes doing the exercise easier. And the AI tool is going to help you to analyze this so that it becomes very usable. So you can start using it in your messaging, in your DMs, in your sales pages, all of that stuff, sales conversations, all that stuff. All right, real talk. Summary of our key takeaways. You want to know what makes your best clients. You want to learn to recognize them quickly so you can sell to them before someone else does. This is a big thing. You need to be able to recognize your highly qualified leads, because one of the things that makes them highly qualified as opposed to just qualified, because there is a difference, and something I go into more in my 6-part, 6-phase, 6-month aligned as fuck sales training. If you don't sell to someone that is a highly qualified lead, somebody else will, because they're ready for a solution and they're looking for it. And you want them to buy from you because you are actually soul-led and purpose-driven. You've studied, you've got certifications out the wazoo, you're really good at what you do, and you care. And if you're the person they're really supposed to work with, they might get some results working with somebody else, but they're not going to get their best transformation or results unless they work with you. So you need to be able to recognize them quickly and know how to nurture them in an aligned and ethical way, and get them to work with you so that they can actually get the result and transformation, and you can get a sale. And you need to set your standards to only work with highly aligned clients because it really is the key to making your business sustainable. What I say is with every aligned as fuck client that you serve, your business gets easier, right? Because they become repeat buyers, they give you referrals, they give you case studies that help you to convert even more people. So that is that was day one. And this is supposed to be the day two thing. It is. Okay, so fast yes framework tomorrow is day two. How to tell lickety split if a lead is a fast yes or it needs to be, that person needs to be blessed and released. And knowing this is going to save you so much time and it's going to increase your confidence so much more when you are selling to people and talking to people in the DMs because you're going to have a really, really good idea whether they are aligned or not. So I'm excited. Go do your homework. Let me know when it's done, and I will give you some personalized feedback, and we'll get on it for day two. I'll see you then.